Today I am flying Air Busan, a relatively unknown low-cost airline based in South Korea. The journey will take us from Busan across the East China Sea to Taipei, the capital of Taiwan. Come along as we'll find out what Air Busan is like and whether they can compete with some of Asia's more well-known budget carriers. The adventure commences at Busan Gimhae International Airport. Good morning and welcome back to another flight review. Today's journey is BX793, departing Busan at 10:50 a.m. and arriving in Taipei at 12:35. Flight time will be 2 hours and 45 minutes. PUS is the fourth busiest airport in South Korea with over 16 million yearly passengers. The airport opened in 1976, but it has been modernized on various occasions. The easiest way to get here by public transport is the Busan Gimhae Light Rail Transit. The train takes about half an hour from downtown Busan and costs less than $3. I did not have any bags to drop, but Air Busan's online check-in didn't work, so I had to go to the counter. The friendly attendant told me that I couldn't check in online because I had booked a one-way journey and they needed to see an onward ticket. Fair enough. After checking in, I passed through security and immigration, which took less than 10 minutes. Busan's departure area is relatively small but airy and comfortable. There are various shops and restaurants, including a food court with reasonable prices. As we are waiting at the gate, just a quick side note. In today's flight report, you will not see any exterior shots of Busan Airport, our plane, or the takeoff. The reason is simple. PUS is not just a civilian but also a military airport. As such, filming the outside parts is prohibited. The same applies to takeoffs. But rest assured, there will be plenty of gorgeous aerial shots after takeoff. And by the way, I was also told not to film the approach into Taiwan. Consequently, I won't be able to show you the landing either, but more on that later. So yeah, a bit restrictive, but those are the rules and we have to comply. Now let's talk about Air Busan, a relatively unknown South Korean low-cost airline. Air Busan launched operations in 2008 and is one of Korea's main budget airlines, but a lot smaller than the country's biggest low-cost carrier, Jeju Air. Interestingly enough, it is a joint venture between the city of Busan and Asiana Airlines. As you might have heard, Asiana is in the process of being acquired by Korean Air. Consequently, the country's two largest full-service carriers will soon merge into one aviation giant. At the time of filming, it isn't 100% clear whether Air Busan will become part of this merger or whether some other ownership structure will be created. We'll find out in the coming months. Air Busan has a fleet of 24 Airbus A320s and A321s. They currently fly to 11 countries in Asia as well as some US territories in the Pacific. Boarding began half an hour before departure and the plane, which I am not allowed to show you, was parked at a remote gate. My ride to Taipei is an Airbus A321-200 delivered in 2017. I am sitting in 6 Foxtrot, a window seat at the front. The legroom isn't too bad for a low-cost airline, and the padding is really comfortable. There is a standard tray table, an in-flight magazine, and a coat hook. USB charging or power sockets are not available, but the seat does recline quite a bit. As I mentioned before, I can't show you the actual takeoff, but I can show you the views right after. And those were jaw-dropping. The skies over Busan were almost clear and the surrounding islands looked absolutely gorgeous from above. Air Busan offers quite an extensive selection of in-flight food and drinks, but the prices are relatively high, especially compared to Air Asia. However, if you pre-order food online, which is what I had done, it is much cheaper. My pre-ordered meal arrived shortly after reaching cruising altitude, and it was some tasty-looking kimchi fried rice with pork. And yeah, it was delicious and high quality. Now, if you purchase this meal on board, it will set you back $12, but I paid less than $9 because I pre-ordered. So yeah, if you want to eat something on Air Busan, buy your food in advance on their website. There is no in-flight entertainment, but on this particular journey, the views out of the window were entertaining enough, especially since I was sitting in front of the engine. The Loo was spotless, and so was the rest of the plane. I also wanted to mention that the cabin crew was super friendly and professional. And here we are, Taipei Taoyuan International Airport. As I mentioned before, I wasn't allowed to film the landing, which is why that part is missing from the video. Now, I want to clarify that this is what the Air Busan flight attendants told me. You cannot film the landing in Taipei. However, after doing some research, I am not entirely sure whether this is really the case. In this context, I read conflicting reports. Maybe you guys know more. Anyhow, we arrived at 25 minutes past noon, 10 minutes early. I paid €105 for this journey, out of which 16 were add-ons, and the fare did not include checked luggage, which would have cost another €25. Nevertheless, this was a very good deal for a 2.5-hour flight. And yeah, overall, I was very happy with Air Busan. The one big negative was their website. It kept breaking down and often didn't have proper translations. My guess is that a relatively small airline like Air Busan just doesn't have as many people handling things like website performance, but I don't know that for sure. Apart from this minor issue, the food is quite expensive compared to other Asian low-cost airlines, but the quality was good. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Definitely an airline with a lot of potential that could see significant growth in the coming years. And that is it for today. Let me know down in the comments. Have you flown Air Busan before? And if so, what was your experience? Thanks very much for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.